Hello people, hello you beautiful motherfuckers, and welcome back to my channel, where today I'm gonna try and do a sort of new series that I hope I can post on this shitbang of a channel weekly. So the series will be called Rate or Bait. Now if you're wondering why that is, basically in this series I tried to take random cars, or rather cars that you guys will suggest in the comments or in the Discord or whatever, and I'm gonna try and analyze them, test them out in each major aspect of, you know, where a car can do good in this game, if that makes sense. So I've done I've split it up into 5 different categories. So you have top speed, acceleration, drifting, grip, and off-road, or I guess dirt. And I'm going to test them out in each of these 5 and compare and see how they do compared to others. And at each, at the end of each section, I'm gonna give it a score out of 10. And I know it's gonna be a bit weird because all these cars are gonna be maxed out instead of build up to a certain class, but I can't really build them to the class that they're best at because I want to test them out equally. Also, you're gonna see me share some clips from other people because I'm just not the best at testing. So if I get footage or tunes from people that are better than me, you're gonna see me putting them not only on display but also on screen. So with that being said, let's jump into the first car that I'm gonna try my best to do, and that is the International Scout, as you can see here. So the Scout is obviously one of the best off-road cars in the game, and I thought it would be fun to start off by drifting it. So you're gonna see the run here on the screen with me getting a fairly bad score, obviously. By the way, I'm not scripting any of these, I'm just talking as I review the footage that I've edited. And so if I pause a lot or stutter or whatnot, that's because I'm not scripting anything. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna show the 2 best runs that I got after about 30-ish minutes of attempts. So that was a 139, and I think the PB is a 140. And my thoughts on this car: obviously it's bad. The only good things about it is the fact that it's got a lot of power and a lot of torque, and that's it. It has nothing else for it. It's very heavy, it feels heavy, it transitions very slowly. Obviously the build that I used was cooked. Like I'm not that good at building drift builds and shit, but I can manage. And so I'm giving this car a 3 out of 10 for drifting. I think it's pretty obvious why. I mean, the world record on this is 148. I got a 140, so yeah. Moving on to top speed. Again, this car kind of sucks. So as you can see here, I'm doing 408 on flat, which is, I believe, 254 miles an hour. Not very impressive at all for a car that has one of the most powerful engines in the game, the Funko engine, which develops 1,750 horsepower. Definitely not good. And the answer for that is, I guess, and all that is happening because the car is literally shaped like a box. It's got terrible aero. So yeah, I managed 416 kilometers an hour downhill here. I think I rewinded to see if I can get a 417. I don't think I do. So 416 adds up to about 258 miles an hour downhill, and I decided to give it a 3 out of 10 just because there's so many cars that are faster. This is way below the average. Moving on to drag, aka acceleration. You're about to see the footage that I got after about 10 to 15 minutes of attempts. So I think I get a 13.4 here. This car is pretty slow, as you can tell. It's got terrible drag coefficient, but that's to be expected. So, oh no, I got a 13.3. And what you're about to see next is a clip from Travis. Thank you very much for sending me that, and his tune, which will be up on the screen. He managed to get a 13.2, I believe, with his tune, which can wheelie, as you can see here. Very cool. But still, the car is very slow. And for that reason, I've decided to give it a fairly low rating of 4 out of 10. The only saving grace is, again, the power. Now, moving on to probably my favorite one here, which is grip. Now, as you can imagine, this car is not grippy at all, whatsoever. So, I think I did a massive mistake in when I tested. I didn't use the most powerful engine. I used the lightest one, and as a result, I probably could have gained more acceleration out of corners, even though this is the slowest track in the game, excluding the Winter Wonderland one. I'm not testing cars on that one, fuck that. So I probably could have gotten a better overall time, but I mean, come on, this thing did a 50 point something, and it's S2. Well, it barely scrapes S2, but still, that's a whole, I think, 14 something seconds slower than the world record. It's garbage. It's horrendous. It's terrible to drive. I didn't have a fun time driving this at all. I don't recommend it. It's obviously not meant for grip, but hi, I'm testing cars for literally anything, so it had to be done. So you're gonna see me finishing this last run here. I'm only gonna show the end, but basically I got a 50.8, and the ranking is 2 out of 10. It can't really get much worse than this, honestly. It is terrible. And finally, we have dirt, which unsurprisingly is what this thing is best at. So I've decided to test cars on the Teotihuacan circuit, or dirt circuit race, whatever. You get what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of people like to test cars on this one. So after about, as you can see, over half an hour of testing, I built something very, very cooked here. I'm not confident at all in what I built. I got a 104, which, yeah, terrible, I know. It's an A-class time. This is at the very, very bottom of S2 class, if you're wondering, the build. And I'm not very proud of it. I suck on dirt, but remember, we're not here to set records, we're here to compare the cars. That's the main objective. And so this car, overall, not too bad, of course. Now, because this car is very, very good in pretty much every other class, I decided to bump it up to a 6 out of 10. Because, yeah, it's obviously one of the best cars in the game. I can't just, ignore that fact. Now, if you scroll here onto the A-class leaderboard, you can see that the fastest scout is actually almost a whole second faster than me, which is kind of nuts. So the total is 17.5, 17 out of 50, which adds up to 3.4 out of 10. That was the scout. Let's move on to the next one, which is the iconic Toyota Supra. Now, I know a lot of people were going to suggest this at one point, especially the more casual audience. So I decided to get it out of the way in the very first episode of the series. And it was actually pretty surprising. So let's start off with drifting again. Here's another surprise. This car is actually not that good at drifting. At least not at point drifting. It's not very smooth at all. In fact, it is very, very grippy. I had a very hard time with this car. So I started drifting it right after the Scout, and believe it or not, I had more fun in the Scout drifting it, because that thing posed a challenge where it was way too slippery. This thing is way too grippy. It's a lot more frustrating. But at the end of the day, I got, I believe, a 141.5 after switching to Rizok's tune. Shout out to him for, I guess, making a build that proved to be better than mine. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. And it's not great. It's just not great. I'd say it's average. It can probably do like 144, maybe 145. But yeah, it's about average. Now, top speed. Top speed is actually pretty good. Now remember, it has a 2JZ, which can get 1,600 horsepower, which is very good. It's way above the average for a car in this game. And so this reaches 283 to 200, I think it's 284 on a decent run. I got 457 kilometers an hour in my run. That's good. That's definitely above the average. You're gonna see me getting it right here at the end. Now, I don't switch to low FPS or anything like that. I don't do anything crazy. So yeah, 7 out of 10. I think it fits pretty well. Pretty fast car. Now, acceleration. Again, it's got good power. It's got a fairly decent drag coefficient. So this is my run here. After about 10 to 15 minutes of attempts, that's what I got. Nothing too crazy here. I was doing it in the solo race, so you can't really see the speedometer at the end. I'm just a dumbass. I forgot to go to rivals. And I believe I got a 13.3, which is as fast as the Scout, but don't worry, because now we're gonna switch to Travis's run, who got his build, and it's exponentially better. He manages to wheelie. It's great. I'm gonna put the share code up on the screen to see it. There you go. And he did a staggering 12.8. So yeah, pretty fast. Definitely above the average, so I'm giving it a 6 out of 10, as you can see. Now, grip. Grip is interesting. This car is not naturally grippy. However, we must not forget that it did at one point hold, I think, the Goliath world record for a while, and it's still off meta. It's definitely very good still, but that's not really grip. That's a power build. We're testing it on the grippiest track in the game. Still, I can't just ignore that, so I'm gonna bump up the rating just a little bit. But overall, it wasn't painful. That's what I'm gonna say. I think it's average, I would say, considering I mean, it's still like over 2 seconds quicker than the Scout or something like that, and I could have gone for longer and tested it for more. I got a 48.6 there, and I'm gonna get like a 48.5, so it's not bad. I definitely had a bit of fun testing it, but I wouldn't call it grippy. It's a whatever car, to be honest. So I'm giving it an average score. I would have given it a 4 if it wasn't off meta for power builds, but yeah, 5 out of 10. And here is probably the biggest surprise. This thing is faster off-road than the Scout. You are looking at my Scout run from earlier, where I got a 104, and as you can see, I am quite a bit quicker in the Supra, which is weird. It's very weird. Now, I think I just cooked a better tune on the Supra than I did on the Scout. The Scout is obviously supposed to be better in lower classes, not maxed out, and you know, that makes sense. But it feels better than the Scout. It drives better. It's definitely more maneuverable, if that's a word. I hope that's a word. And at the end of the day, I think it was a second and a half quicker. I got a 102.4 or 0.5 or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I was very surprised, but because it doesn't hold any low class world records, I'm gonna give it another 6 out of 10, just like the Scout. I'm gonna try and balance this out. I know it's gonna be weird, but yeah, bear with me, okay? So in total, the Supra got 29 out of 50, which is 5.8 out of 10. Wait, is it a 5? Yeah, I think it's 5.8. Anyway, so yeah, that was about it for episode 1. Sorry, this is a little bit of a mess here. I had to edit it on a completely different device here. I have to use different fucking clips and whatever. I don't have time to put up a spreadsheet, but by next week there's gonna be a spreadsheet for literally all the scores that I get in all the cars and all that, so bear with me until then. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment down below what you want to see featured in the next one, which I hope I can, you know, record and edit this upcoming weekend. and get it out until I go back to college. Comment the 2 cars that you want to see in the next one, because I'm gonna do 2 every week, or at least try to do 2 every week. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one.